Yeah, what do we got here?
I got a couple of high-grade U.S. large currency notes that I've been collecting. This is a 1918 series Federal Reserve note, and this is a $500 1882 gold note.
Whoa, these are a little bit more than just high grade, especially this one right here, the $500 gold certificate. There's not a lot of these left in the world. This was an incredible amount of money at the time. I mean, this is a year or two salary for most people. It would be very difficult to get change.
The notes that I've got are considered to be pretty rare, just like artwork. But at some point, you just want to move on or find something else to do. I'm really looking for $50,000 for the pair of notes. $40,000 is the least I'm really willing to sell them for.
Yeah, these are incredible.
Thank you.
There's probably less than 100 of each of them in the world. I mean, they were shredded. Just like, you know, when we have a bad $1 bill today, you know, it eventually ends up back at the Federal Reserve, and they shred the old ones and print new ones.
Right.
This was 1882. There was a gold shortage at the Treasury right around that time. They issued a lot of paper bills like this, especially when this one was made. I mean, we still lived in a world where people really didn't want paper money because paper money was just a receipt for gold.
Right.
But it had advantages. First off, it's a lot less bulky than carrying around gold coins. And the other advantage of this was if you were traveling, say, in a stagecoach somewhere and you were robbed, you now had a traceable document instead of some gold coins in your pocket, which were not traceable at all.
Makes good sense.
So how much you want for these?
I'd like to get $33,000 for this note, and I'd like to get $17,000 for this note, so I'd like to get even $50,000 for them.
Okay. I want one of my friends to come down here and look at it. But he deals in this stuff almost exclusively.
Sure, sure.
They look real to me, but there's a lot of treatments people do on these things to make them look better.
Understood.
Okay. So hang on a few minutes, and I'll get him down here.
Okay.
All right, be right back.
I very much welcome an expert. My only concern is the expert a prejudiced expert, or is he an unbiased expert? So it's something I have to take in consideration.
What do we have here today?
You know, two $500 bills that he wants a lot of money for. And the big thing is have they been processed, and what are they worth?
Sure. May I take them out of the holder?
Sure.
These are incredible items. They're not common by no means. I'll tell you right now, my favorite one out of both of these is this 1918 500. Features Chief Justice John Marshall, who essentially helped create the Supreme Court to be co-equal to our government. Pretty historical individual. Gold certificates were issued in a time where they were backed by gold. Because weight of gold was quite heavy, the government issued paper currency to alleviate some of the stress of carrying it, and it also allowed the government to keep some of their gold medals in the banks and have public debt carry the certificates instead.
All right, well, tell me about these things.
Sure. This 1918 500 Federal Reserve note, this note looks problem-free, meaning has no tears, rust, inks. It's definitely has never been pressed. It's got just light circulation. It's a really, really solid example, and it would fall in the very fine 30 range. This is a genuine, high-valued example.
Can you and I disagree without being disagreeable?
Sure.
I do think it grades higher than that between us.
I get that quite often. I get that quite often. Now, the 1882 500 gold certificate, this one concerns me. This has seen some restoration work quite well. The corners look like they've been rebuilt. During that time, it was probably washed lightly, not too harsh, and would probably grade this in the very fine 20 to 25 range, but it has been restored.
And that affects value.
It absolutely up to about 30 to 40%.
Okay, so what do you think they'll go for?
Individually, I think in auction, I would expect the 1918 $500 Federal Reserve note to bring $20,000 to $30,000, and the 1882 $500 gold certificate, because of the grade and the restoration work, in auction, I think one could expect to pay around $20,000.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Good luck.
Thank you for your help.
If Rick can negotiate a deal for these two notes in that price range, I think it's a very good buy considering the scarcity of them.
So what's the best price you'll take for them?
Well, I'd like to get $50,000 for the two of them.
Well, you seem like a reasonable businessman. You know, I'm not going to pay $50,000 for something I might get 50 out of.
Right.
Hey, what can you do?
I bet 40.
There's no money at 40.
37?
No, I'll go 35. I mean, there's auction fees, I mean, in the end, it makes no sense for me to give you a dime more than that.
All right, you got a deal.
Oh, sweet, man. Let's go up front, and I'll write you up. These are cool.
The offer of $35,000 is a little on the low side, but it's a fair offer. And right now, I'm just going to leave it in the bank account.
Hey, how you doing?
Now, I brought in something I thought maybe you'd be interested in.
What do you have?
Got a $30 bill made by the United States.
Let me see this thing.
Absolutely.
This looks like a $20 bill to me.
It does. And that looks like a 10.
Now it looks like a $10 bill.
I'm a currency collector. This is probably the very favorite piece from my collection. I've owned it 5, 6, maybe 7 years. The reason I'm going to sell it now is because it has no immediate place in my collection, and I don't see it having a place in the near or long-term future.
I've never seen anything like this before. I don't really know too much about this. So this one's from 1974.
Those were the last ones made.
So what happened? There was just an error on the printing press or something?
Yeah, exactly. They print the backs first, and they let them dry overnight, and then instead of printing the front with a 10, they accidentally slipped those in, and they printed the front with a 20.
It is pretty cool. I mean, the Treasury doesn't usually allow stuff like this to get out into the public hands. Don't they catch that pretty quick?
Yeah, they really do. But every once in a while, something sneaks out.
Okay, and so normally they would like destroy these if they found them, right?
Correct.
Well, you know, it is graded though. PCGS is definitely what you want to see on there when you're looking for grading in currency. Extremely fine, 45. I don't even exactly know what that means.
That's all right.
I know extremely fine is good though.
It's very good. It's very good.
And I mean, it all looks legit. It's sealed. It's definitely a $10 bill on the back and a $20 bill on the front. I mean,
Well, this,
just from my untrained naked eye, it looks perfect.
it does look nearly perfect.
How much are you looking to get?
I guess I'm looking for $35,000 on this.
That's a lot of money for 30 bucks.
It is.
I don't know enough about this to even make you an offer. So I'd like to call someone in and kind of get their opinion on what it is and what they think about it.
Sure, fair enough. Let's do it.
Okay, give me just a minute. I'll have someone down here and see if we can't make a deal on this thing.
Ready when you are. I think my asking price is realistic enough that I expect the expert to come in, you know, with a range that includes $35,000.
Hey, Chumley, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Chumley called me in the shop today to look at a $30 bill, which is a pretty darn rare error note, which has a $20 front and a $10 back. And I'm really excited to see it because I haven't seen one in a couple of years. You cannot spend it for 30 bucks.
I think you'd lose some money on that, huh?
You would. You definitely don't want to. This bill is Series 1974. When they were discovered, I believe the Fed came in, they heard about them, and retrieved as many as they could. But around 2 dozen, I'd say maybe 26, 27, escaped. Well, it's obviously certified, so you probably don't have any questions on condition. What do you...
I mean, I don't really know what this means, so...
Okay, so PCGS has certified this a 45, extremely fine, on a scale of 1 to 70, 1 being the worst, 70 being the best. This is towards the higher middle range. As you can see, it looks considerably better than the assigned grade. The folds are very subtle.
Okay. So how much do you think this is worth?
Well, I'd put an auction value. I would expect this to bring between 30 and 40,000. 40 on the greatest day, 30 on an average day.
Okay. Well, I think that's what I need to know.
All right. I appreciate
you
it.
coming
My
down.
pleasure. The $30 bill error is extremely sought out by collectors. It's one of the most popular and dramatic errors that could possibly exist. If Chumley can get this at a reasonable price, he should absolutely buy this for the shop.
So what do you think?
I still think it's worth $35,000. That's right in the middle of your expert's estimate.
You know, I wouldn't doubt that it's worth $35,000, but that is an auction setting. I mean, I could probably go $20,000. I think $20,000 is still leaving me with enough room to make a decent profit there.
No, I think there's plenty of profit potential there at 20. It's just not going to work for me. How about 27.5?
This is gonna be my last offer, max value that I can pay for it here. I think if I offer you $22,000, I think there's enough room in there for me to make the profit that I need to make.
I just can't go below 25,000. I just can't. Appreciate your offer, but
All right.
thanks
Take
so
care.
much.
My pleasure.
Yep, thank you. I'm not the least bit disappointed that I didn't sell it for $25,000. Certainly $22K was out of the question. I know this thing's gonna bring $30,000 to $40,000. I just don't want to leave too much money on the table.
So I'm in LA with Chum, and I'm at a warehouse full of printing plates. Some of them are well over 100 years old. This stuff is amazing. This is so much American history just sitting in crates all around me.
Texaco? It's funny because the Texaco one wasn't oiled.
It's literally a complete treasure, and I don't even know what's here.
Whoa, this is freaking cool.
So I've asked Peter, my currency expert, to come down and help me out. Peter will know which ones are important, he'll know what they're worth, and there has to be money to be made here.
Hey, Rick, what are you doing there?
I'm just getting completely fascinated. You have to check this stuff out. This is just unbelievable stuff. Look at this.
This is just...
I mean, look at some of this stuff. I mean, like Hershey's chocolate, Boeing airplanes, RCA, General Electric.
Check it out. I didn't even know they made plates this big.
Well, I'd be darned.
Oh, there's a whole bunch over there.
This is amazing. So the American Banknote Company actually started in 1858 with 7 smaller printing companies at the time. It was founded in 1795 as Wright, Danforth, and Fairman Printing Company. And right before the Civil War, when the country was in turmoil, they decided to get together and create the American Banknote Company.
So we had like 7 printing companies merge?
Correct. This is just remarkable. Looks like you guys already picked some cooler items.
I mean, this is just like a couple boxes we went through.
Right, wow. You even have the original paper around some of them. I mean, look at this. You know, this actually is pretty cool because they actually use this as they printed, so you could see exactly what plate is here.
Aircraft.
This would have been, you know, a header for a stock certificate.
Or maybe for letterhead.
Or for letterhead, absolutely. This right here caught my eye. This is actually an accumulation of all the vignettes or salesman pitch. The company would print this up and say, hey, look what we can do. Look how amazing. We can do anything you want. And here's an example.
People's Insurance Company of New Jersey.
I'm impressed, Chumley.
So what do you think they're worth?
You don't see them trade hands often because I think we found where they all are.
They're all here.
But over the last, 15 years, I've seen a handful trade here and there, and anything that's General Motors, anything really cool like that could trade in the hundreds, sometimes even thousands if it has a really cool vignette. I mean, you can see the sheer size and beauty of it. I mean, this is something I would expect to go for thousands of dollars.
Okay. So how much do you want for these?
Cherry picking them like that, I don't know, $2,500, and I'll throw the big one in there for $2,000.
So you want $4,500?
Before you guys strike a deal, I have a buddy at the printing museum right down the street. I think he can actually print this. Why don't we try to get them printed first so we can actually see how amazing they look, and then maybe you guys can strike a deal together.
Sounds like fun, yeah.
All right, let's...
I can make
so
a
he's
phone
right down
call.
the street?
Yeah, he's right down the street.
You ever work a printing press?
No,
Guess what?
it's my lucky day.
It's your lucky day.
I'm doing the printing, you're doing the lifting. I'll meet you in the truck.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, yeah, let's check it out.
We'll step on over our printing press. So first we're going to work the ink. It's actually a very specialized ink. It's very dense, very heavy. What our first step to do here is actually to get the ink into those small crevices in the plate.
Okay.
And while this is happening, our paper is actually in the process of getting softened in a bucket of water.
Wow.
So we're inked up. Now, Mike, my master printer, is going to take the next step here to get the ink off the surface and then leave the ink in those reservoirs.
How do you do that without wiping the ink off of the...
Well, the material here, it's softer and it's only wiping the surface. He's not pressing heavy. And right now, because there's ink in there, you're actually going to be able to see that image even better.
Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah, so now you can see the train.
I should just leave it like that.
Yeah. Now, we're going to get that into the press.
Oh, this is very cool.
So next, we're going to get the paper.
Quick question. Do you have the paper they use to print money on?
Well, I can tell you who makes it. It's actually one of the oldest companies in the nation. It's Crane's Paper.
I'll be ordering from them tonight.
Yeah, well, they also have a good mailing list, and guess who sees their mailing list? The Secret Service. So,
Okay. Can Chum crank this?
Well, let's get it started. We'll let you do part of that process. The key is getting this started with the felts, allowing for the pressure. All right, let's see. We'll let him crank a few here. So this press is from about 1900.
This is pretty cool, man.
We're there.
Whoa. That's incredible. This is absolutely amazing. I had no idea it would look like this. Well, thanks, man. I really, really appreciate this. I never thought printing was art.
It is definitely, it's an art and a craft. Enjoy it.
All right, so you're asking 4,500 and
I think that's a steal, Rick.
so you're still good at 4,500 bucks?
I think 4,500 is a good number. You get the opportunity of the printings, and that can go wherever you want to take it. It's unlimited.
I guess we have a deal. This is absolutely fabulous. Now I just got to hire this guy. I'll go to my truck and I'll write you a check.
Okay.
Come on.
Great.
This is a really cool place.
Yeah, it is.
Chum.
I'll be a few minutes, Rick.